Refreshment. Well, that was a week. I'm really gonna get a day off. So I have some shit to do tomorrow. Try to fit a stream in there somewhere. I'm back here on the phone. Did not bring my device with me tonight. Probably gonna have to make multiple trips tomorrow, depending on what happens. So. So I was thinking of this concept of like these what do you call it? Rules of self or some shit like so it's the three that I put in the title. So self preservation first, then you need self care. Self preservation isn't necessarily self care, but they could be like interjoined, right? And then self improvement. You have those three tiers, right? So preservation's like being like the very most basic shit, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean like you're gonna be like on your well-being, right? Like, so then you need like that self-care, time to rest, and then like the self-improvement is obvious. It's like always leaning towards healthier habits and always trying to learn and what have you. So it's kind of trying to differentiate between those things, right? The very first thing is you have to have a will for self-preservation. If you don't have a motivation for self-preservation, you're probably going to fall apart. See how the audio is looking. I'm gonna turn. Hello. Shouldn't have any issues with that, really. About this one. Hello. Where are we at? Let's try that. I'm pretty far from my mic when I set it here. So hopefully it's not too quiet. So yeah, there's been like this ongoing drama amongst some peoples I know, and I'm not even sure like how or well, I think I'm pretty much uninvolved with a lot of it, other than doing some commentary. Like my cat and I have talked about it, and William and I have talked about it a little bit, but William hasn't. He's kind of been avoiding coming by the channel to chat about it. I guess he doesn't want to, taint it with drama unnecessarily, which I do appreciate, but I like something that's off limits. I'm not even really sure who or what, how some people are affected. Like, I was under the impression that Oz was kind of on the inside of this group outing people, but it sounds like Oz got outed by the group too. I'm not sure how that worked out. So there seems to be a whole kind of culture growing around this kind of reaction of the allies, and yeah, I've been talking about this for a while. People wanting to be allies, myself wanting to be an ally, and then kind of stepping in the wrong direction, putting foot in mouth, or jumping to the defense of somebody that doesn't want or need your help, or what have you, or simply reacting to the wrong shit. Where your heart's in the right place, but you end up defending somebody or whatever just because they are X, and that had nothing to do with the thing that they were actually doing or something. Like it's not addressing the actual question. So I don't know. I've been far too wrapped up in my own bullshit to really get too involved in the drama. I hear things and then I kind of like, whoa, what's going on there? But yeah, I think there might be some topic for William and I to debate on there, because I know William is um, on the other side of the abortion issue and stuff like that. So that's somebody that I could see having like a friendly and robust discussion with, and some disagreement. What's up, Melvin? Good to see you. Smoke my little roachy here very slowly. I think that's an important conversation to have, especially for us being in the U.S. It's a very, ongoing hot button issue. It's just not going away. And for someone leaning the way Williams leaning, someone leaning the way I'm leaning, to be able to have a civil conversation, maybe actually reach some common ground, some compromise on that issue. I don't know. I think it's always worth the conversation. I would just shut him down because he's, on the opposite side of the aisle. As long as he's being respectful, and I don't see why somebody would do something like that. But that seems to be what Knock the Raging Atheist is trying to do. Is, I don't know, call out William. I don't. He didn't say anything about canceling or deplatforming. He very clearly stated that he did not like the guy, did not like his opinions. They're not friends. He might have a discussion with him, but they're not going to be friendly, because in Knox's eyes, William is against bodily autonomy for women. But there's obviously a lot more nuance to that conversation to be had. So but I ultimately stand on, it's going to be her choice at the end of the day, whether to have an abortion or not, or it should. But we should have these other kind of considerations, right? So I don't know. I don't really know Williams' nuanced position on that, so I don't want to. I just know what Knock was saying Williams' position was, and I heard a few clips of what William had said in particular conversations. So. And I think he also brought it up earlier, but I was in and out of the room when they were having that conversation over at 420 Atheist channel. Jumped in the live stream, and then I realized I had shit to do. I tried to do it real fast, but it didn't work out that way. So hand sealing up pretty nicely. The scab came off. This way, you can't even see it. Oh, down there. I know it doesn't look too bad, but it was brutal. Went end over end on a Razor scooter. Done that since I was a kid. Yes. So nothing too interesting at work. Work life has been pretty mellow for the most part. I did do that extra day of work today to make up for some lost time. I got to talk to my kid, so that was cool. He's always in a good mood. Well, not always, but usually when we talk, he's a trooper. He is not like much of a. He's not much for phone calls and FaceTiming and stuff. So he doesn't really show his full personality. He kind of likes to mess around a little bit. which is fine. We don't have the same depth of interaction as when we're in person, obviously, and he just doesn't enjoy a conversation in the same way. So he'll play little games. He'll say things to me, and his mother's in the room, and he'll say things to me that he knows his mother's going to scold him for, and I guess he wants me to scold him for it, and so, but I'll let him do it until mom says something, and then I'll say something, and then he'll get a good laugh out of that, and then I'm not the parent in the room. It's also like really mundane stuff. It's not like super inappropriate stuff. Like I'll just say she gets weird about really petty stuff, and my son tends to be very repetitive. So if it ticks her off, he will do it over and over again. It's great. Kind of like me. Now you know why I'm single. Among other reasons. Needs real tuning. Tune her up. Skip to back. Want to be do that. This morning, I got myself a magazine. Time I make home, gotta take another ride down to like a storm. So, so I $5.80 left in my food stamp card, and I spent a bit of that. I bought a loaf of bread, which I still have a few slices of. I bought one little thing of chili and a little thing of SpaghettiOs, which I ate both at work tonight. And then I bought some salad dressing. So I have the cabbage and the green onion, so I can at least make a cabbage and green onion salad, I guess. Yeah, that's the way it goes. And yeah, I think Mom's going to help me out with some food tomorrow. Hopefully, we get that all worked out. And still have to go to the food bank. Probably just make a regular thing of that. To keep food in my belly, because income's going to be tight. I'm going to be paying off this debt for another 3 months. So those are coming off the top of my checks. And yeah, I'm going to have to start paying tolls again because that's going to become another regular thing once I start driving. Although, the plan is to at least split it up, so I'm driving the car much less often, biking and busing more, stick to that routine, which I spoke with my therapist about, as far as keeping on the healthier exercise, because evidently I'm a person who actually really requires a lot of exercise. And I always know that's high metabolism, high energy, and I'm always trying to, pretty much dope myself down. So I smoke all this fucking weed and shit. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes you just make yourself tired by, going out there and doing hard shit and sweating and working out. And I know that. It's hard to stick to a routine. It's much easier to maintain a routine when that routine is like part of your transportation, right? Because if you have to bike and you have no choice to get to work, then you're going to do that, right? But if you don't have to bike, then it's much, more difficult sometimes to force yourself to bike to work when you don't actually have to. But it's also healthier and it's a better routine, and it's easier than sticking to than, well, I don't know, maybe. I did have the routine when I was doing the pest control thing and shit, fucking, where I would wake up every morning, I go make my coffee, I pound some water, and I would do like 30 minutes floor exercise, push-ups, sit-ups, a little bit of dumbbell training, and I was doing that every morning. Like, okay, 30-minute floor exercise, coffee's ready. Get a cup of coffee, get in the shower, that whole thing. And I was doing that, but um, I mean, in some aspects, it was working out really well, but in other aspects, I was failing miserably. So it was just, yeah, that wasn't quite the correct balance, but something like that, right? Yeah, makes sense. I thought Kat was coming by. I have a DM though. Well, Ginger Nation, I put the link up there so you could come over. Ah, okay. Smart Alec. Halsey put up a new video. Halsey is another pixie, very seductive voice. It's like, that voice, but also the brain. Just that it's the voice and the brain attached to it. But yeah, oh my gosh, that voice. Seductive and calm. I think those two kind of tend to be intertwined, though. We tend to be seduced to calming things, seduced by calming things, right? Does that make sense? Is that a truth claim? Okay, axioms. What in the hell are these axioms? Oh no. Let's go check this. Nice. Discord notifications for the new. Oh, I can't. No, I can't do that. Oh, what's up, Spooky? You're too invested in the Rage stream. That's all right. I don't think you missed much. We were kind of distracting from the Rage stream, although they did talk about it a little bit. But there was like a lot of just nostalgia talk and the old days of Will and Cat trolling Knock and all that good shit that we already know about. And they were just some people were like, "What happened?" And it's like, "Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, okay." And then we let them know, and well, they let them know. I was at the tail end of my shift, so I wasn't able to make it in. And then Kat said that they were going to come over here, and then she's not here. No Kat. But I know you people have shit to do. Plus, I'm on my phone, so it's not like best streaming quality or anything. Usually makes things a bit difficult. But I figure, what the hell? It's pretty much going to be out here watching videos anyway. And I had like this whole train of thought that seemed to make sense as I was thinking of it. It does make sense. It's just like, I guess, basic shit, you know. Just the whole like, okay, you have self-preservation. That's the first tier. You know, just getting by, making sure you're fed and homed and clothed. And you've got self-care, where you actually, like, you know, take appropriate rest and also do like appropriate exercise and then all that good stuff. And then you have like self-improvement, where you're like actually trying to attain, you know, new higher goals or something, or, you know, like there's this thing that I really, you know, or maybe, yeah, I want to learn a new vocation or something, whatever it is, you know. And then so once you get on that track, then you're like, okay, so first I have to do self-preservation, which is what I'm doing now, and I have to do self-care, which is what I keep neglecting, right? Which is the And that's the next thing. To once you have those two things down, then you can actually do self-improvement, and, like, you know, whatever path you're on, you can like find a better way to do that, or go to a new path that suits you better. And that kind of seems to be the place I'm at in this road. It's like a lot of opportunity, right? A lot of opportunity, but no idea what to do with it. I mean, I keep getting all kinds of job offers. A lot more job offers now because of my experience with my present employer. Imagine that, right? Which is what they always say in the online trade, but thank you for letting me know, Spook. I adjusted my mic settings, and I am wearing my headphones, but there's in-phone mic, and, you know, you can only do so much with those sometimes. But the night is very clear, so I think we get good data connection. Yeah, so I don't. What do you do with that? You have to, like, eventually at some point make decisions, otherwise you stay stuck in the same place, and that's the thing that I want to avoid moving forward, so that I'm not still having this same conversation that, you know, y'all and myself in 6 months or something, you know. Like, okay, is there a game plan? How long does it take to get wherever we're going, and where is that place? I don't know. Yeah, it seems very easy to become complacent. To say, oh, well, where I'm at right now is very stable, and stability is good for me, and so yeah, I want to do that, but at the same time, how do I make room for allotment for these gradual improvements, or changes that I'd like to make, you know? You know, it's the most basic stuff. Okay, yeah. Again, my own personal stability, financial, and, you know, food and housing security, and then, you know, for my kid, my kids, plural, but my kid, you know, singular, as far as the one that I actually am able to be actively involved with right now, right? But I have to make all the necessary moves so that I can be more involved, as involved as possible, and stay involved. So that's a whole other step that I'm still kind of transitioning into, and trying to appease the courts, and, you know, all of this rigmarole, this red tape around that. So, okay, stay on task with that, and then, like, go back to doing the things that I love to do, like play music. Got a couple bands that I've been involved in, and we haven't been able to play for a while, and it's slightly depressing. But then I'm like, we we're all grown ass men. Well, for the most part, I don't know about there might be one or two of us that kind of uh, slipped that news. Is that the right? No, wait, that's the wrong one. Or is that the right? Anyway, whatever. The point is that most of us have to like actually support ourselves and our families and live normal everyday lives most of the time, and then we come back in and go to the Zen place together. Sometimes it's a bit more like a steel cage match or something, but most of the time it's the Zen place. And I know we're all itching to do it right now. It's just been impossible for the last several weeks, and it feels like forever. Like for somebody who practices ritualistically, with two bands every week, so I'd be practicing at least twice a week, and that's like minimalist for me. I've been doing that for a few years, but I used to do a lot more. But practicing twice a week and going to two different locations to do that, and going from every week to no weeks, or whatever. It was kind of gradual, but it was pretty quick at the end of it. And yeah, it seems like an eternity. It's probably been like, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks in reality, but it seems much longer than that. I've talked about before when we were in high school. Well, we were supposed to be in high school, but kind of flaked it off. Me and my first bandmate, we would go in studio. I use the term studio rather loosely because it was a bedroom, but we would go in and do sessions, and we would stay up all night on any given Thursday, sleep through Friday, and then we would play all of Saturday morning and Sunday, and then we call that the end of our session, and we go back to doing schoolwork on Monday or something, and we would spend the entirety of those 4 days together, 4 or 5 days, and then I would go home, recharge, and while I was at home, I would make another tape of new songs, and my partner would make another tape of new songs, and then we'd come back in, listen to the tapes, and do it all over again the next week. So it was like that would take up a good percentage of your time just being focused on that and having somebody to bounce ideas off of all the time. And yeah, it's not so much like that anymore. We don't we don't quite have that same thing going in our older age. Although I do wish that you comment in the community. I should probably turn those off while I'm streaming. Huh? Spooky. Yeah. Ooh. All right. And Cali King 916 is live. Let's see. No, I don't want that. There we go. I just forget to do that before I go live, and then you start hearing all my notification ringers and shit. Oh my! It's not too chilly tonight. It's actually fairly warm. So I'm not here in my leather. I was sweating when I came in. I ride my bicycle down to the 7-Eleven here. So I found the hidden $10 in my Google Pay wallet, but I can only use it. I can only transfer it. I can spend it online, or I can transfer it to my 7-Eleven account. Pay that way because my phone doesn't have a fucking what do you call that thing? NFT reader or NFT tag in it. So yeah, I can't actually digitally spend with this phone. I have to get an upgraded model. So, but if you transfer it to a 7-Eleven wallet, they have a barcode that it scans, so you can just put it up on the screen. You don't need the reader or the tag rather. I was mixed up. But I still have that tag that I bought from a company called Tap, I believe it is, or no, Dot, that you're supposed to stick it to your phone, but you have to be is it NFT or NFC? NFC? I got those mixed up. Yeah, the other one's the non-fungible token. NFC is the contactless thing. That's the thing. And so yeah, and so if you have the Dot, which I have, what it's supposed to do is sync your accounts from your device. Like it would sync my YouTube and my Facebook, and basically it would be like a digital business card. And you just tap it to somebody else's phone, and then bing, bing, they get subscribed to your YouTube and whatnot. So, um, yeah, so I have that, but I can't, just haven't been able to use it. I've had that ever since like August or something. So, yeah, eventually I'll get that hooked up, and that's kind of a cool resource to use. Technology is fascinating. They keep coming up with new and interesting things that I never really would have thought of before. But where there's a will, there's a way. Drinking a Lagunitas Maximus tonight, and then I have cheap, of course, old English malt liquor on standby. So yeah, I found the $10 in the wallet, and I found $2 at work. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Also found $1 on the ground yesterday. That was that this morning. That was this morning. Anyway, man, I need money. I am not above picking $1 up off the ground. I need that money. But as I said, I think my mom's gonna maybe help me buy some groceries tomorrow, so that should be okay. And then I'll just get some stuff from the food giveaway. I have recyclables to turn in here, but the recycling center here isn't open until Tuesday, and I'm planning on going the fuck home tomorrow. So, like I said, multiple trips may be taking place. Too complicated? Well, yeah, for the most part, like I almost would want to go back to flip phones, except I really need a PC. Like the Chromebook is awesome, but it doesn't have all the functionality I would want for like what I'm using at home. I would rather like carry around a flip phone and my Chromebook, and then I would either have to have like a really good, like I don't know, a data plan or something. I don't know if there's a way you can like stream with the data from your flip phone to your Chromebook, so you don't have to buy a hotspot separately. You know what I mean? Like you have the hotspot internal in the phone, or would I have to just buy the Wi-Fi hotspot? See, I'm ignorant to all this stuff. When it's like people are trying to sell me shit, and I'm really skeptical to buy because even when I'm not broke, I still try to be pretty frugal. For the most part, as far as those types of things go. I mean, yeah, I overspend on partying and lavishness and stuff like that, but not, those types of things usually. I'm like, I think $100 for a phone is too much, even if it is a fucking smartphone. So this one, my baby mama convinced me to buy it last year, and I did not want to. And it was actually one of the cheaper phones in the store that wasn't a smartphone. But the smartphone they had was like over $100. I was like, that's ridiculous. Or I mean, flip phone, not the smartphone, the flip phone. And so then I ended up with this one, which I actually really like it, but it was like 250, and I was like, that's crazy. Like, it's really not that much better than my old, what was it? Not the Samsung. I mean, the Samsungs were good. I had a lot of those, but it was the Motorola. No, I didn't like the Motorola. It was the Samsung. Wanted the fucking Samsung. They didn't have any Samsung. They stopped selling them or some shit. So I ended up with this one, which is a brand I've never heard of before, and it's actually pretty good. And then the same person who recommended that I buy it took it and smashed it on the ground. So now it's kind of fucked up, but it still works. I also got the shock-proof case, so that helped. Yeah. So after all that, my shoulder's been fucked up for like the last 2 days. I'm still riding around on my bike with a backpack full of shit, so it's not helping too much. So I have to find some time to actually rest and recuperate, which will be today, I guess, as much as possible. Is what I should do, but definitely gonna try and spend most of my time sitting or laying down. Oh, not sitting cross-legged would probably help. I don't think that's helping my knees out. Overall, I feel a lot better. As I've said before, at least now when I'm sore, I know why I'm sore. Party lifestyles. Um, I don't know if it's a lifestyle though. Okay, wait. So I want to say, okay, there is an aspect of it that is social. Um, like I have certain friends that it's like ritual. We get together, we smoke some marijuana, have a beer or two, the conversation sparks up. And it happens here too. You just don't notice it as much online sometimes, especially if people are using avatars and stuff like that. Like you really don't know what this guy's doing. No. I could be, injecting heroin right now for all you know. But hey, we're about to have a badass conversation, I guarantee you. No, no. But really for the most part it's like okay, you have the social aspect to it. But for me, again, managing anxiety and managing, this guy still not wanting to go to sleep, 12:28 a.m. It's like, okay, look, it's not that, out of the, it's not that crazy, because like, you're like restless now because you just got off of work and you've kind of been stuck in this thing you do all day, and then you let out some endorphins or something, or I don't know what type of chemicals, but all of a sudden your brain starts moving again, and then you're like, wait, no, sleep, we don't want to do that. Wait, where are all the party people at? And and then okay, so this will help me mellow out. But in reality, it can just make the problems worse. It can. But it can also help a little bit too. How to fix the brakes on your bike? Disc brakes with hydraulic oil? I don't know about that. But yeah, you need to definitely take care of that. I noticed my back one is getting a little bare as well. I just got the bike, so it needs a lot of work. Um, like everything's rusted out on it, so it's just going to be a matter of replacing some of the rusted parts, and trying to get a de-ruster on it. But keeping the chain well oiled, it has trouble skipping through the second gear. Sometimes it just skips from first to third, or vice versa. And then when it does, yeah, when it goes from third to first, the chain will slip off entirely. And it's not that big a deal. Like it's pretty easy to reattach, but it's just a pain in the butt to have to stop when you're, just trying to shift shift down a gear. But it doesn't happen all the time, so I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. Uh, but yeah, I don't know too much about the braking system. Um, Something I want to look into because I replaced the brakes on my last bike, and those ones were fairly simple, but this one has looks like a different type of setup, so I'm not sure. It's not like bicycle maintenance is like another one of those things. Like, okay, if you're gonna do it, you gotta you know learn a couple new skills, like how to change the chain, how to change the brake cables, right? You got hand brakes, right? And that's a whole thing too. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's a learning curve. I got this Italian Tuscan dressing. It's the dressing I bought, and it's pretty good. It's actually really good. It's supposed to be like totally organic, I guess, from what that says on the label and stuff. Yeah, I was dumping it on my bread before I got to the bus stop earlier. I got freaking, whatever that is, the base of it, olive oil or something all over the street. People are looking at me all funny. Like, what? It's natural. Natural? You slip on it? No, they'll be fine. Everybody will be A-okay. So I cracked, I didn't show you guys this yesterday. I ended up finding everything. I cracked the mouthpiece on my pipe. Luckily, it's not like really jagged or sharp. I can just kind of work around it. But it is kind of a pain in the butt. It's like a little bit wider hole than it's supposed to be. So that happened after we left the bridge last night. Because I took a toke and it wasn't like that. And I put it back in the bag. And when I got home, yeah, I discovered that. So it must have been during that time. But it is what it is. These things come and go. It's a pretty sturdy pipe, so I'm glad, it didn't splinter out or anything. That's all there is there. So what's up, Halsey? Good to see you. I have no topic. I'm in a dark room and just being super creepy. I'm not a spooky bed here though. If you want to, feel free to hop in. Linky. I'm on the mobile, so no promises on quality, but I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life, man. No, okay. Stability, maintain self-preservation, self-care, self-improvement, and then go from there. What do I want to do? I want to do everything. Wait, okay, start from here. What do I want to do? Okay, tomorrow we're trying to work on the car, trying to work on getting some recycling done somewhere at some point, maybe, and getting food. Food is paramount. We need to get food, stock up on food, get as much food as possible. I can afford to hoard food as long as it's not going bad because I'm like super skinny and I eat like the darndest stuff. Like you could probably preserve in the freezer for 10 years or something. So just keep that stuff and just load up on it. But okay. And then I have to focus on the court shit. I know I've got that. Okay, long-term goal. Career options. What are my career options? What's realistic? Okay. My boss seems like a pretty approachable guy. I think I could sit down and ask him, do I have a future in this company and where's that future going to take me? And I'd probably get a pretty direct fucking response. But I just have to have that conversation, right? Just go for it or do it myself. Do something completely different. Where am I going to go? Okay, I need to choose a new career path. I need to choose something that suits me. Or maybe I could do something in a similar field, like pursuing the thing I was already talking about pursuing, Okay, and then there's this whole other thing. Well, now you have to clean your act up, boy. You have to quit smoking, the reefer, at least long enough to pass the drug test. You're not going to fucking fake these people out. You got to do it at least 40 days or something. 40 days and 40 nights. Really, really not doing that thing you've been doing for a long time and stuff. Okay. Whew. And they'll pretty much tolerate everything else to a certain extent. I can keep, putting fucking poisonous nicotine and alcohol into my body, fucking as long as, I can get it out of my system, long enough to fucking do a shift, But the other thing, yeah, they're just not going to tolerate that. It's still, we're not there yet, right? So, but you got to just pass like the prelim, right? The preliminary, as long as you get in and then establish yourself, then you don't have an issue unless you fuck up on the job. If you fuck up on the job, you're going to have a fucking issue, right? But most of the time, unless you're like a driver or something, they're not going to just, fucking randomly, arbitrarily fucking test you. And then you're going to get away with some shit. Maybe. A lot of them do. So I've heard. I don't. Okay. Work inside the system. Make change. Be the change from inside the system. So once you're inside the system, well, then what? There's unions. You can work within the unions. You can, well, I don't know exactly what you can do from inside the correctional system. It's a bit of a there's some different things going on there, but certainly as a correctional officer, your opinion is going to hold more sway, right? Like for some reason, if you have that job, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's like, he's very well qualified. We're gonna like his opinion, Like, unless he, does something really heinous. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, I could be shooting heroin right now for all you know. I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use that one a lot. It's my new troll scheme. Sketchy Marmoset YouTube Parade is on board. This is absolutely terrible. I was gonna try and read Homer to you as well, but that just seems untenable. Nothing I can do to contain myself. Okay, so since I haven't bought cigarettes in like a week, yeah, so I've got these cancer sticks from various places. But I haven't smoked a full cigarette. I was rolling them up, but I ran out of papers. But I have smoked too much today. I was coughing a lot earlier. Like my lungs are really, really fighting, but they let me know when I'm overdoing it. Like, okay, they cough up some shit, and it's like, yeah, okay, and it's just like back. But I'm not having like the anxiety withdrawals and the stomach pain anymore as much. Still have some stomach pain, but it's not the same one from nicotine, so that's good. Like as long as I stay on the other end of that, and I haven't taken my Chantix in a little over a week, I think. It's been about a week, 7 days, something like that. Um, oh, if weed is legal in your state, do you still have to be weed free for your job? Right. So no. Okay. So for any civilian job, like technically, the job I'm in is still a civilian job. So as long as you're in a civilian in the private sector, then they consider it recreational. They test for the levels, like when you go into a job, but they're pretty clear that it's a non-issue as long as there's no suspicion that you're using on the job. That's the issue. Don't bring it to work. Don't use it at work. Okay. Um, but there's the other issue of medicinal, which we've had medicinal longer than we've been recreational. And the medicinal law actually, for most jobs, with some exceptions, you are allowed to be under the influence to a certain level even while on the job, as long as it's not a safety hazard, because it counts as a medication. right? But it's the same as any other medication. Well, as soon as you go over this level, or we find you to be impaired, then we're still going to fucking shaft you, right? You're just kind of not as liable legally, so that's why there's that slippery slope there. So all the companies now say up front, we're going to test you for it, but as long as you don't get caught smoking at work, nobody fucking cares. Like, do what you do at home and don't bring it to work, right? A lot of people are doing it at work in California. Like, it's a big thing. Like, they're just like, we don't care. We're doing it at work. We're doing it while we're driving. We're doing it everywhere all the time. Like, it is a big fucking movement right now. They're taking it the next step further. They're like, oh, you said recreational? We're just, yeah, it's a little overkill. Like, I'm like, you don't need to be smoking a blunt at the playground while your kids are on the slide, right? Like, you should probably be playing with your kids, and yeah, put the blunt away. But okay. And then you get the dudes who are like me, who are security guards, but they're standing out there on the corner smoking weed in uniform, and that happens too. And just like, a lot of people are vaping. You get away with it a lot more easily when vaping, and that includes whatever you're doing. Like, it doesn't matter if it's nicotine product, THC product. People are putting freaking meth in the vape pens and shit. Like, you don't know what people are vaping out there anymore. They're just burning shit up in those little electric cartridges all the time, and it's like it's impossible to enforce. Like, with a no smoking ordinance, you tell them to put the cigarette out. With a vape pen, you tell them to put it away. They put it in their pocket, and they fucking hit it again 2 seconds later, and then they just put it back in their pocket. And you can't do shit. It's like, you still can't do shit with a cigarette unless you're like me and you go cowboy and fucking pull the fucking stogie out of the guy's mouth and rip it in half and get into a fucking almost fisticuffs with him. That happened. That was, yeah. It's like, okay. And then I hear the finger chopping machine when you're severely stoned. But okay, but on the real level, so then there's state jobs. So like, I'm state licensed, right? Like, so I am licensed through the state for my vocation, even though it's a civilian job. But it is considered, kind of, it's not, you don't just go in and get a job application. You have to, recertify every couple of years and stuff like that. You have to prove that you've attained recent training for certain things, right? So there is that whole process, right? And so it becomes an issue where, as a state licensed person, then if it comes up that, oh, with this marijuana thing, okay, well, now you're under the your license could be examined by the state to determine your competency, right? And that's under a certain level of state regulations. Now go up to the next level. I could have a similar state license and work a job that is actually for the state itself, right? Like, say, park ranger, right? That's in the realm of law enforcement, but technically it's a state or local, like city or county job, depending on how the systems worked in your area. So those ones are under a stricter standard, because anytime now you're receiving, you're literally paid by the state, so you're under the Fed, and this is where it starts to get tricky. Like going into the military, you go into the military, even if it's the National Guard in your home state, doesn't matter if marijuana is recreational or illegal, because you're regulated by the federal government and it's not recognized federally. So no federal employee can use. It's prohibited. So that's why when you go on any military base, even in the state of California, you still can't bring marijuana on the base legally. I don't know how strict they are here, but that's and the same if you're working in a prison. Obviously, people live in the prison, they live on grounds, they work in the prison, but they can't bring their marijuana on grounds because it's within the prison walls, even if it's their home. legally. So that's kind of a tricky area in the law that you have to navigate. And if you're going to use marijuana, then you have to, and or you can just stay in this other private civilian sector where you never have to deal with all this bullshit and just go smoke out on the street in your car until the cops bust you for something. I don't know. Yeah, it's still highly illegal to smoke marijuana while driving, but yeah, a lot of people do it. I do it. I do it. Like I would say, if I'm stuck in traffic, if I don't have pot, I would ram a motherfucker. I wouldn't ram a motherfucker, but I really want to. I sit there, scream and yell and pound the steering wheel. I'm like, fuck, move, move out of my way. But that's another thing I'm trying to conquer right now. Like, if I get back behind the wheel, maybe become a bus operator, you know, obviously I'm going to have to conquer my road rage, just like any other situation I'd have extreme anxiety about, and whatever coping mechanism I have, whether it's cigarettes or pot, I'm going to have to, like, deal with not doing that. I was getting pretty good about not smoking cigarettes while driving. When I first got my car, I spent the first year and a half that I had my car, I didn't smoke in it at all. It was a rule. I was not going to smoke in my car, and then I ended up slipping on it a couple of times, and then it got more and more. But at that time, I was barely even driving my car. It was kind of the same situation. Actually, it was in much more pristine condition. I was riding around on a bicycle, and I had a job nearby where I was living, and then I ended up losing my position. Uh, was the first thing that happened. Once I lost the job that I had, I ended up having a longer commute, so I ended up using the car. And then once that started, it kind of just, yeah, I think that's really could say, yeah, I got out of control from there. That was like 2018. 2018, yeah, sounds about right. Um, yeah, I could put a pin in that one right there. Life hack, memorize your memories or something. Yeah, I just remembered something that I should have remembered all along. That was the key. Like, where did it? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the most recent, like, not the most recent, but the most recent in terms of, like, because we're talking about 5 years ago. So that makes sense. Yeah, I was almost in exactly the same place I am now, except I had more privileges. And then somewhere along that whole thing, I got, oh no. I had tried to quit smoking back then too. And I took the same medication and I ended up vaping. I ended up vaping and it ended up going back to smoking. But I was living with a smoker who was one of my best friends. So yeah, that's kind of an odd, connection to make, I guess. I ended up back in the same place, but now I don't have that person as a resource anymore, and I don't have all that person's baggage to deal with anymore either. Although I have a bunch more baggage now. Oh God, attachments to people and things. It's all very complicated. But yeah, we definitely had a real bromance going. Ooh, that's something I could do. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start that in honor of my bromance with the Bear Man. My bromance with the Bear Man. We're gonna do some type of true crime thing on the regular. I always love true crime, fucking mafia stuff, and cartel news, and he always stay up on the latest. Like they have a bunch of fucking online drama, like all these fucking new fucking mafia, like all the kids of the mafia guys. And they all like to fucking have it out online and talk shit to each other. It's pretty funny. So yeah, I get butts I find usually are longer, but getting kind of sparse, and then I cut the ends off of them, so hopefully my lips aren't touching what the other people's lips are touching. Usually I have rolling papers and I just roll the tobacco. I don't have to worry about all this shit, but I'm going old school because broke. The stores are closed. Yeah, I'm a little sleepy tonight. Hard to keep continuity of thought. It's a funny thing when you're not trying to think. Everything keeps piling up on you. You're constrained for time or whatever. It's like once the pressure of that gets alleviated, then your mind just goes blank, I guess, sometimes. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna try to do that stream tomorrow. 10 o'clock, which I think is the regularly scheduled time. But again, if I'm stuck here on a phone, maybe no. Maybe no. Unless I get back there on time. I did wake up pretty early today. Started a little earlier than usual. Plus, I stayed up late last night. So. Yeah, real chill. Existence is now mine. In your mind, so far away from reality, off into space, wasting away time. Everybody knows that it's alright. Got to make something Yeah, I don't have any words. All right. Well, yeah. I guess I'll practice more. Practice more. Stay out of the trash. Try to focus on self-preservation, self-care, and what was the other one? Yes, self-improvement. Right. Okay. Born in the dirt, I had no one. And the places I've lived, you wanna know. So if you wanna get even, come a little bit close. I wasn't born about the age of 5. I made love to the hound of the wolf with a dark-haired girl. She whispered in my ear, little boy, you're the one. Falling in deep deep inside. Said it's part of your fate. 'Cause little boy, you're the one. You're the one, you're the one. You're the one, you're the one. Ooh yeah, you're the one. Little boy, you're the one. Do me one more time. Was not correct, but that's all right. Yeah, I finger pick most of the time. Although I do have some picks around here somewhere. But yeah, I grew up finger picking, so that's the way I do. All right. Well, shit. Totally hit a loss. Must be all that marijuana. Until next time, we'll sign off. Much love to everyone. Numbers.